What previous Big Brother house guest do you identify with the most, either personally or strategically?
The former house guests I identify most with are definitely, Cody Calfiore. The Hitman was like an elite duo. That's like where I want to take the season is have my duo partner. We're going to the top. Or any social players that Derek X was another great example of someone who kind of didn't get to live out his full potential. Those are definitely my favorite Big Brother players.
I definitely identify with Suri the most of all of the past house guests thus far. I think, very much so. I am the girl who's walking around in my bathrobe all of the time back at home. And more than that, I just really relate to her story. I relate to her level of persistence. I'm definitely the type of person, if you don't get it the first time, do it again, do it again, do it again. And so I find that story incredibly inspiring.
Prior house guests whose game I would try to mimic. There's so many. I feel like when looking at previous house guests, like you have to pick and choose ones from each season or maybe from multiple different people to put it all together. Obviously, season 20, the winner, Casey, fellow Filipino, is like a hero to me. I hope to be the second Filipino winner, falling right behind her. And then also the way she played the game. Like she stayed so true to herself towards the end of the season, really turned that competitive side on and started cranking out some wins. I really hope to play my game very similar to that. Stay really true to who I am, not compete to the degree that I know I may be capable of in the beginning, but when we get towards the end, be able to turn that thing on and gather up some wins to take us to the end.
Some of my favorite house guests. I mean, Dan Giesling. I think that's a really common answer because he was very good at what he did. June from way back when, also very good at what she did. Um, I love Davon because hello, such great TV. Great to watch, and she had such good gut instincts and intuition, and I'm very much like a go with my gut kind of a person, or at least I try to be, because I feel like I have pretty good intuition. I'm very kind of like observant. Who else? I know people have their opinions of Andy and all of the cast of season 15. But I think he maximized the use of like playing the middle really well. Um, I'm just a fan of like taking bits and pieces of people who I thought, wow, that's actually, pretty successful what they did to get where they were. And try to implement that into like a strategy. But above all else, it's about adapting. So I'll take those things, keep it in the back of my mind, but I'm going to do whatever I have to do, whenever I have to do, with whomever I have to do to make sure that like I'm making it week after week. Because ultimately I want to win the game. So that.
The former house guest I identify the most with is probably Frankie because he's funny, he's cute, hello, and I think he played a really good game, and I know I'm going to play a really good game.
The previous house guest that I think I identify with the most would probably be Jared because he's also a sports guy. He loves basketball, which I love too, and he got into a little showmance, which I can respect, and I think I might be able to in this show, depending on the cast. Maybe.
My favorite house guest to date is Tyler from season 20. He just played what I feel like all the way to the very end, a flawless game. He had his hands in all the cookie jars. Everyone was on his side and he was team getting to final two. So I feel like his strategic side of playing plus also his abilities to win the physical competitions was the perfect combination. What I'll do differently is actually walk away as the winner though. I feel like my game will be most like Tyler from season 20. He came in just a people's person. His communication skills were spot on, and he won when he had to win. So I feel like I won't be someone that'll throw competitions purposely, but I also will read the room. If I don't have to win, I don't want to paint that target on myself, and he did a really good job of that. So I feel like my game will be a little more like his, except for I will actually cook and clean and then sweep people out 1 week at a time.
I think personality wise, I kind of relate to Devon a lot because she was a poker dealer as her profession. She's really funny and witty, and she's not afraid to speak her mind, and I feel like I share a lot of those qualities with her.
Who I identify most with is probably Sam Smith. I liked how he went in the house. He was just a good guy, family man, had kids, happy-go-lucky, kind of went with the flow. I think I identify well with him, although I might have a little bit more of a competitive streak than he does or did at the time. But I think that's who I identify the most with.
The former house guest that I would identify most closely with would be Rachel Riley. She is a boss babe that does what it takes to get the job done. She is fierce, strong, and competitive. And then kind of mixed with some of the nicer, more personable players that are really kind, really sweet, and they make it to the end as well. So I would say a dynamic hybrid of maybe 2 or 3 players.
The 2 house guests that I think I can relate to the most, one, Dan, shout out the legend. He's very good at playing the game and will do what it takes, and if someone's bashing him who shouldn't be, he'll sit there and take it and let things unfold as they will. And then Brett's one of the funniest dudes who's been in like the diary room. He would make me crack up, and he's also somebody when his back is against the wall, he has no problem lighting a bus on fire and running it over somebody. So those 2.
Ooh, okay, so I keep saying it. I do love Janelle. I don't think that her gameplay was maybe how I would do it. I just love how great she was. She was like, she calls herself the comp queen. And I mean, I don't know if I could ever take her place with that, but I'm going to give it my all. I think that she was well liked. I think a lot of people liked Janelle. She's a real estate agent as well. And I think with that type of job, we are both people. And so possibly I could relate to her because of that. Her gameplay was but like I said, she's great at comps. June, I loved how she kind of flew under the radar a little bit. She was cooking for everybody. So I don't think she really came up on anybody's radar to vote her out because she was making everybody fat and happy. Oh gosh. I love Cody's gameplay too. I think I relate maybe more as a player like him in the way that he was kind of everywhere and in everybody's pot. He knew what was going on everywhere. At least that's the way it seemed. And I feel like that's kind of how I'll play too. I'll never say no. Well, probably would never say no to any alliances. So if it means multiple ones and being secretive about them, I'm doing that. I feel like Cody kind of did that too. He was just a great people person. He was easy on the eyes. I'm not saying I am, but he sure was. And I just really admired his gameplay. Great. And I like Nicole too, though. I like Nicole. She was really cute, and I think she flew under the radar a little bit too, but I think she played a really good social game.
Personally, I really liked Brittany Haynes because, I felt like she was really raw and really cool, and she also came off as, just a conventionally attractive girl, but she ended up playing a really good game, and if it weren't for the brigade, I think that she would have won because she built those personal relationships, with Lane and everything like that. I also really liked Liz from season 17, even though she was a twin, but she was from Miami just like me, and she kind of had the same kind of dry sense of humor that I do. There was another character that I can't really think of right now, but I really honestly whenever I've watched any of the seasons, I think that I can see myself in a lot of different characters, and I don't think that anyone has come on that's exactly like me. I really relate to a lot of them, and I like how whenever you get further into the seasons, you learn more and you start to like more of every character, and you start to have a piece of your heart go out to each different character.
The Big Brother house guest I most align with personally and strategically would have to be Jason Guy from season 3. He was a real sweetheart, really nice, a young looking guy that maybe gave off the vibe that, not that he's not here to win or, play, but he's more about having a good time and, putting others in front of him. I think I've got a little bit more teeth than Jason, but he and I definitely would vibe on a personality side of things.
So I think the house guest I most identify with or align with, I would always come back to Angela. I really think that
kind of her vibe I kind of match with. I am very physical, and she was just a very tough mental player. She didn't let anybody give her any crap. She always did what she wanted, and she had a pretty strong alliance too with Tyler and Casey. So I think she just played the game really well. She stayed calm, cool, and collected, and she did what she did best, and that was play a good game.
Yes, I have a favorite house guest. I love me some Da'Vonne. Okay, Da'Vonne was just very entertaining in the diary room. Da'Vonne was a competitive player. Da'Vonne was funny. She was loud. I love me some Da'Vonne. That's how I model myself after.